welcome to my second video. So this video is going to be on how to apply your eyeliner using two different types of products. I'm going to show you how to use both liquid liners and gel liners. And again, hopefully I'll go into a lot of detail in terms of the techniques and the brushes and how to use the applicator, etc, etc. So in the hopes of making this video slightly shorter than my last one, let's get straight into it. So in this video I am going to show you how to do your eyeliner using two different types of products. I'm going to use a liquid liner on one eye, and then I'm going to show you how to use a gel liner on the other eye. So for my liquid liner I'm going to use the NYX vinyl liquid liner. It looks like this. And I'm going to apply that onto this eye here. And for my gel liner, I am going to use the Illamasqua's Precision Gel Liner. The Illamasqua Precision Gel Liner. It looks like this in a little tub. So let's get started with the first eye. Hello. Very close. Okay, so let me try to get these baby hairs out of the way for you. Don't get distracted by my baby hairs or my sideys. The reason why I'm using the NYX liquid liner is because the applicator just makes it really easy to apply liquid liner. Well, not really easy, because eyeliner is very difficult and it requires a lot of practice, but the applicator on this product just makes it a lot easier to apply. It's firm, it hasn't got a lot of bristles, it's firm, making it just easier to apply really. So taking the applicator out, I just like to wipe off the excess. You don't want to apply too much product to the eye, you know, it's just going to create a gloopy mess. So a couple of tips when you're applying a liquid liner or gel liner is that you want to try to anchor your arm or your hand as much as possible if you haven't got a steady hand. Why my nose always itchy? Always. Just around here on the nostrils. So I recommend you put your arm on something steady that doesn't move. The second thing that also helps is to place your pinky onto the top of your cheek here, and this just stops your hand from like flailing around and the eyeliner going like up here somewhere. So the easiest way to apply liquid liner is to look down into a mirror. Rather than having your mirror up here, I just find like it helps to keep the eyelashes out of the way, and you can just see what you are doing a bit better. So looking down into your mirror, you want to start with the inner corner. You want to try to keep the applicator as close to your lash line as possible. And what you want to do is concentrate on little strokes along the lash line. You're more likely to go wrong if you try to tackle the whole line in one go. So I'm slowly applying little strokes to the inner corner, gradually coming across my eye towards the outer edge. And notice I'm holding the applicator flat against my eye as opposed to like this. It just helps to create a more steady, clean line. If you hold the applicator against your eye, you'll just have a bit more control over the brush. So once you've covered perhaps 3/4 of the eyelash line, don't know what I'm saying today. Then I would stop there, because what we're going to go on to next is creating the actual wing. So what you want to do is create a little line just at the edge of your eye. Just like that, just to give me a guideline as to where I want my wing to go. And everyone's eye shapes are different, so it's just a matter of preference as to where you like your wing to go, what angle do you like it. That's just for you to play around with your own eye shape and see what suits you the best. I like to keep my line quite straight. So I'm going to keep my line kind of in this direction. Once I've drawn that base, I am just going to lightly sketch out the rest of this line. And I had very, very little product on my brush. That is key to this step, because if you do make a mess, then it's very easy to wipe it away. And it also helps to keep the line as thin as possible. So once we have the baseline created of the wing, the next stage is to then connect our wing onto the lash line. So again, minimal product on my applicator, and this time I'm going to turn the applicator around so it's this way. This helps to give you more precision over the line. It helps to keep the hand steady when you do this. So starting, say, halfway or 3/4 of the way along our wing, I'm going to place the applicator around there. I'm going to bring the line up onto my lash line. So to do that, I was holding the applicator really lightly. If you apply too much pressure, you're more likely to go wrong again. So just go slowly and have a very light hand when you're doing this. So now we've got the wing connected to the lash line. The last bits are to fill in this little triangle that we've got created here, and to adjust the shape of the wing and to thicken it up and clean it up as however you want the wing to look. So we're just filling in this little triangle bit first. This eyelash always gets in the way, and then I end up with all this muck on my finger. Okay, so once we have our triangle shape lightly filled in, I'm now going to thicken up the line and clean up the edges of the line as best as possible. So to thicken up, I'm just going to go back over the line in the same way that I applied it. So when I'm neatening up the outer corner and my wing, I'm always turning the applicator around to face this direction. Bringing it onto my actual lash line to connect and to thicken it up. And with what is ever left on the brush, which is not a lot here, this is how I neaten up and create a really sharp wing. So I just go over the edge very, very slowly and then flick the applicator as it gets to the edge to create that really thin line there. So moving on to the second eye, I'm going to use, like I said, a gel liner. Obviously with a gel liner you will need to use a brush. I think the two best types of brushes to use with a gel liner are a fine liner brush like this. This is Max 210 brush, which is a fine tip liner. Or you could use a brush like this. This is Max 266 and it's an angled, a flat kind of angled brush. I've used both in the past, and I just prefer the angled brush, mainly because it kind of does most of the work for you. So I'm going to show you how to use this brush in this tutorial. The technique is going to be very similar to how we applied the liquid liner, but obviously we are using a brush. So taking the brush, I'll just dip into the gel liner. What you want to do is remove the excess from the brush. So on the back of my hand, take off the excess by flattening the edges of the brush. The reason why I like to flatten the brush against my hand is so that the brush is nice and sharp, and that will just help to apply this liner. So again, starting with the inner corner, just want to anchor our hand by placing our finger on the top of our cheek here. Move our baby hairs out of the way. I'm just going to lightly sketch out this line. Again, trying to keep the brush and the line as close to my lash line as possible, and I'm holding the brush quite flatly again against my eye just to give me the most control. Now I'm not trying to tackle the whole line in one go, I'm just lightly sketching this line out. So again, once you get to around say 3/4 of the way down your lash line, I like to just stop there to then create my wing. So gel liner can dry out quite quickly. You just want to keep on dipping back into the product and then wiping the excess off at the back of your hand. Okay, so to create the wing, in the same way that we did the liquid liner, I'm going to hold the brush with the point of the brush, the highest part of the angle, if that even makes sense, towards the outer edge of my eye. Just going to create a little base at the corner of my eye here. And once I've got that, I'm just going to sketch out a very light line. And I think that's sort of even. Now don't worry if your lines are not even, no one will notice, don't worry, okay? Try to keep the lines as even as possible. So now to connect the wing to the lash line, I'm going to turn the brush around so that the pointy edge is now facing away from my outer corner, because I find that the brush then nicely sits in that area and it does most of the work for you. So coming up around halfway on our wing and simply slide it up towards the lash line. And that's just creating that triangle shape again, which we will now fill in. And I'm doing this in small brush strokes. And the very last step is then to neaten up the line and to thicken it up however you want the line to look. Then when I get to around there on my eye, I like to flip the brush around and then slide it along to connect up to my lash line, like so. A nice little trick to clean up your wing liner is if you find it's gone a bit thick at the bottom here, you want to take a bit of concealer on a flat brush that you have and just apply it right at the bottom of the wing. So just very carefully go along the bottom of the wing. And just taking a beauty blender or a brush, you just want to pounce it over the concealer just to blend it in. I was going to say dab, but I said dab like a million times in my last video, so I'm trying to avoid the word. So the last thing I'm going to do in this video is apply my lippy. I am going to do this on camera so you can see one of my favourite lip combinations as we're getting into autumn. Autumn, not fall, okay? We don't live in America. It's going to be a nice deep red brownie kind of red colour. Starting with Lime Crime's Salem. It's a really nice rich brown colour. I like to apply this first. Once we've applied that, I like to go over the top with MAC's Ruby Woo. And as you can see, it gives a really nice rich dark red. So I hope you liked that tutorial. If you did, then please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and hopefully I will see you in my next video. Never know what to do at that point.